A lone Subaru car driving on a deserted, snow-covered highway at dusk. The headlights struggle to cut through the heavy, swirling white snow. Cinematic wide shot. Cold atmosphere. The blizzard intensifies, showing a thick wall of white out of the car's windshield. The driver's face is stressed, eyes squinting to see the road ahead. POV shot from inside the car. Through the dense snow, a small, dim neon light sign of a roadside cafe appears. The driver signals to pull off the highway. Gloomy, isolated setting. The car slowly pulls into a small, snowy parking lot. Show two other cars partially buried. The driver exits the car, instantly hit by sharp, freezing wind and snow. A close-up shot of the small, old-fashioned roadside cafe. The windows are steamed up, but a faint light is visible inside. Eerie, quiet setting. Interior shot of the dimly lit cafe. A woman is behind the counter. Two men sit silently at the bar, all looking up as the door opens. Awkward, tense atmosphere. The protagonist sits at a small table by the front window with a mug of coffee. They watch the blizzard outside, the snow covering the parked cars, feeling out of place. A subtle, unsettling close-up on the older man at the bar. He has a pale face and a half-dead look. The atmosphere is quiet, heavy silence. The conversations abruptly stop. All four people in the cafe are sitting in silence for a few moments. The only sound is the wind howling outside. The first man, not the older one, stands up, putting on his coat. He mumbles something about a cabin and heads straight for the door. Quick, decisive movement. Through the window, the first man gets into his car and sits, perhaps waiting for it to warm up, show his exhaust briefly. The older, unsettling man stands up without saying a word. He casts a brief glance towards the protagonist before leaving the cafe and closing the door behind him. The protagonist turns to the woman behind the counter, gesturing towards the men who just left. The woman shrugs, a look of confusion or mild annoyance on her face.
Quiet in here tonight.
A quick sequence of small talk scenes between the protagonist and the cafe worker over 30 minutes, showing the passage of time in the quiet, empty cafe. The protagonist walks back to the front window to check the intensity of the snow. Outside, both men's cars are visible, but the men are nowhere to be seen. Zoom in on the empty cars. A chilling close-up on the protagonist's eyes, realizing something is seriously wrong. They hurry to the front door for a closer look. The protagonist steps outside into the harsh cold and strong wind. The snow is heavy, making visibility difficult. They look around the empty parking lot desperately. The protagonist struggles through the deep snow to their Subaru. They reach the driver's side door. Relief mixed with dread. Close-up of the ignition key turning. The car makes no sound, no struggle, just utter silence. The key is turned multiple times with increasing panic. The protagonist sits in the driver's seat trying to process the impossibility of the car failure after only 40 minutes. Suspicion hardens into certainty. Through the blizzard and darkness, a shadowy figure appears at the edge of the woods behind the cafe. It is the older man walking towards the cars. Low-angle, ominous shot. The protagonist quickly jumps out of the car, slamming the door shut. They sprint back toward the cafe door, panic accelerating their movements. Inside the cafe, the protagonist throws the deadbolt on the front door. The worker looks at them with alarm and confusion. The protagonist urgently explains the situation and tells the woman to call 911. The worker hesitantly reaches for the phone. The older man arrives at the locked door. He presses against the glass, making eye contact with the protagonist through the window. His eyes are bloodshot and face pale. A close-up of the man's pale face and his intense, chilling gaze. He knows he's been discovered. The protagonist stands frozen. The man bangs once on the door, then suddenly turns and runs towards his own car in the blizzard. Quick, decisive retreat. The protagonist watches him run into the storm, then turns away from the window, still shaking, as the worker finishes the call to the police. Establishing shot of police cars with flashing blue lights arriving at the cafe in the heavy snow. Only 3 cars, the protagonists, the workers, and the creepy mans are in the lot. 2 police officers follow faint, disturbed tracks in the snow leading away from the parking lot and into the dark woods behind the cafe, flashlights scanning the area. An officer discovers the body of the other man in the woods. The discovery is implied, focusing on the officer's shocked reaction and radio call. A police forensic close-up on the first victim's car ignition line showing a deliberate clean cut, proof of sabotage. Cut to the protagonist's Subaru, another close-up on the ignition line revealing the exact same deliberate cut, the realization of the killer's plan. A dramatic reenactment showing the sequence, the creepy man cutting the car line, waiting inside, then following the victim out into the blizzard. The protagonist is being questioned by a police officer inside the warm cafe. They look exhausted but relieved. Snow falls heavily outside the window. The protagonist is back on the road in a new car, or towed car, driving away from the cafe as the sun begins to rise dimly. They look over their shoulder, paranoid. Final shot. A lingering image of the creepy man's shadowy figure emerging from the dark, snow-filled woods. Focus on the ominous feeling and the haunting memory.